Can I ask my second question?
Yeah.
Because I think this might lead on beautifully from what we've been talking about. And it's, for you, what do you believe are the differences between effective and ineffective review and reflection?
Ooh. Got me thinking on that one.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. The brain is ticking over here. It's an interesting question. And I think the purpose is probably a big part of that. You need to define the purpose of the review to work out how the review needs to be done to then know whether it's effective or ineffective. So I think for me, the ineffective is just not just sitting down and looking at the year and going, oh, that was kind of nice. You know, and thinking, yeah, let's do a little bit more of that next year. I think it needs to be a very purposeful, intentional review. That for me is probably the effective of what's the outcome that you want of the review, what you're trying to learn, what information are you looking for, what confirmation are you looking for, maybe what challenge are you looking for? Because I think we see what we look for, don't we? So I think you need to be very intentional about what information you are trying to gather, that then you then know whether that's effective. I think lack of planning, lack of definition maybe would make it ineffective. It's an interesting question. What was your thinking when you wrote the question? Did you have something in mind?
Well, it happens for myself and also for some of my clients, and probably for yours as well, that sometimes you do a review and you're like, that's great, I'm now going to ABC. And sometimes you do a review and you tuck it away in the folder and you put it away and you never look at it again. And in a way, that's dead time. But what happened to make that less effective?
That's so true, isn't it? It's that next step, isn't it? What do you do now? You know what you know. What do you now do with that information? Because that's what makes the review effective, isn't it? It's the lessons learned and best practice and what you do next. And I'm going back into my old world of business change, and how often do we see companies do that? They do a big review and they do lots of looking into the best practice and the lessons learned, and then it gets filed away or people change positions and it then doesn't go anywhere. The actions aren't taken. So I think the actions, which is the bit that's effective? Or is it linking up the two of a good quality review, of knowing what it is that you're looking for, knowing what information that you want to gather, and then what you then do with that information in those next steps?
So part of it is looking back historically, establishing the learning, noticing the development, figuring out what happened when things didn't go great. The second part of it is how you take that into the future. Because if you don't do that bit, is it a review?
Yeah. Or is it just a reflection?
Yeah.
Ooh, is that different?
Oh, do I need to edit my question list, or should I just go?
And it's interesting because at the end of the workshops that I do, whether it's with organisations or individuals, I put the last screen up is always a light bulb and a foot, and I ask people for their light bulb moment and a next step. Because the important thing for me in any workshop or any learning environment, and in a coaching environment as well, is what have you learned today? So what's resonated with you? What learning are you taking away? But then what are you going to do with that? What's your next step? Now you know what you know. What could you do differently that might bring a different outcome? Because that's what I want people to take away when they're leaving the workshop is, oh, okay, this was, just that one snippet. And quite often that's all it is just that little light bulb that goes off that starts that inner dialogue of, oh, I could do this, or maybe I could do that. And then having that next step to take away. So when people leave the workshop, they're thinking about what they can go and do differently and put that into place. So I guess a similar process with a more structured review of actually what have I learned and what will I now do differently, or maybe what will I now do the same,
or what will I stop doing?
Yes. That's what I need to do more of. I'm very good at doing more, not so good at doing less. It's a good challenge.
So in this Venn diagram, we've got on the one hand the review, and then on the other hand we've got the planning and action, and there is an overlap. There is a blurry bit that is both, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.